Remember radioactivity? Hang on, everyone. So listen, and this story impacts me too.
I remember white men being jackasses is what I remember. Chernobyl made me so angry at men. Was that the reaction they were hoping for?
Well, no, I think
nurses were idiots too.
Yeah, a lot of people were holding that material. But anyways, let's talk about what's happening. This is an article from the BBC. Radioactive water may be dumped in the Pacific. So Japan's environmental minister says contaminated water from the Fukushima nuclear power plant may have to be released into the ocean because storage space will run out in 2022. More than 1 million tons of water that has been used to cool the melted reactors is kept in giant tanks. Fishermen groups are strongly opposed to the idea, but many scientists say it would pose a low risk. I have heard that before from a show that I saw early this summer. The government said that the final decision had not been taken. Reactor buildings at Fukushima power plant were damaged by hydrogen explosions caused by the earthquake and tsunami of 2011. 3 reactors melted down. The Japanese government decided that the area would be cleaned in a vast operation that would take many decades to complete. For the last 8 years, around 200 tons of radioactive water have been pumped out of the damaged reactor buildings every day. Most of the radioactive isotopes have been removed using a complex filtration process, but one isotope, tritium, cannot be removed, so the water has been stored in huge tanks, which will fill up by 2022. There's been a long plan to dump the water in the Pacific Ocean, and the Environment Minister, Yokisha Harada, has now said that he supports the plan. Many scientists say the water will quickly be diluted in the vastness of the Pacific Ocean.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
The state of Indiana, no. Ugh, God. Sorry, I'll get back to Indiana in a little bit. The tritium poses a low risk to human and animal health. The BBC's Tokyo correspondent Rupert Wingfield-Hayes reports that this does not mean that the controversial plan will happen. Fishermen groups are strongly opposed to it, and the South Korean government has made it clear if Japan goes ahead, it will further damage an already fraught relationship. The International Atomic Energy Agency says Japan has to make a decision about what's going to happen to the contaminated water urgently. So here's the thing. I don't believe that dilution is a solution. There's no way you're going to tell me that a radioactive material is going to be diluted as water and then you're going to dump it into the Pacific Ocean.
And then it's not going to have an impact.
Then it's all going to be safe. I can't help but think of this is another recipe to a long, sad history of disasters that can impact not only the ecosystem of the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, but to the people who use it. Not only Japan, but I'm talking South Korea, the United States, Canada, Russia, Australia, and all the other individual sovereign nations that have access to the Pacific Ocean.
Not to mention the ecosystem of the entire Pacific Ocean and killing all of them. Did you say them already? All right, sorry. You were listing off countries. I was like, what about the fish?
I know. What about the fish? What about the whales?
Ariel? What about Titan?
I just want to run a logic experiment really quickly. Okay, Fukushima, you're filtering the water. Why? Well, it's radioactive and we have to take care of it because the radiation might be an issue. Okay, you're storing it in that tank. Why? Well, it has tritium in it, and tritium isn't safe, and we shouldn't be around it, so we're storing it in this tank.
Say that again one more time about tritium.
It's not very safe.
Thank you.
So we're going to store it in this giant 1,000,000-gallon tank to make sure it doesn't get anywhere. Japanese scientists. But if we put it in the ocean, which we didn't want to do anyway because it wouldn't be safe, but if we do it in a large quantity, it will then, therefore, be safe.
So diluted that it doesn't even matter.
And I think Jilly Love in the live stream chat has probably the best comment here. Make water great again. And the thing is, I just can't help but think of Chernobyl because I am comparing this a little bit. I mean, granted, the situations between Fukushima and Chernobyl are two different scenarios altogether, each devastating in their own right, equally devastating in their own right. But this is a recipe for long-term consequences that will severely impact humans and the ecosystem in the Pacific Ocean and all outlying ecosystems that rely on it. And it's something else needs to be done besides dumping it into the ocean. Fred Edwards. Easy fishing. Oh, or easier fishing. Oh, wow.
No, I'm for it.
Wow.
I don't know who made that comment.
Oh, no, wait, no.
Funny, not funny.
No, hold on. When fish glow in the dark, they're easier to find.
And I hear they're tastier too.
Yeah, or either that, I can't help but think of, and granted, this is a little bit going off the rails, but I can't help but think of the movie Shin Godzilla, which was really a response towards what happened in 2011 when the tsunami hit Japan, because it was a film basically calling out the Japanese government and their failure to really prepare the people for the tsunami and then the aftermath of Fukushima. And I can't help but think of Shin Godzilla. I recommend you see it. It's a very interesting. It's a foreign film, of course. It's a Godzilla movie, but I think it's really good in regards to showing the dangers of incompetent government leaders.
Is it going to make me angry though, Kit?
Maybe. Granted, it's a giant monster movie.
My husband does not love me getting angry. Generally, I yell loudly. We have neighbors and paper thin walls.
It's a giant monster movie, but I think you're more really going to be angry at the incompetence of the government officials.
That's what I was angry about with the Chernobyl.
You might see that with Shin Godzilla. I do recommend it. It's a really good Godzilla movie. But this is so serious here because you know what? I have friends.
This is scary.
I have friends and relatives that live in Japan. And, how's this going to impact them? How's this going to impact all the innocent civilians that are in Japan?
Do they mention in the article any other options as far as...
There are no other options at this point right now. I mean, either that or... here's something crazy. I mean, they find another way to make tritium less dangerous. But the thing is, I'm going to repeat what Daniel said. It's a dangerous material. Mm-hmm. It's radioactive. It's a dangerous material. And they're thinking about diluting it with water and then dumping it into the ocean in 2022. More than 1 million tons of water.
And I'd be curious. I think it's a long time, but I'm not totally sure about that. And I bet either you guys or our audience knows better. How long does radioactive material have before it's not radioactive anymore?
Well,
because that would be my question: is like, how long will the ocean be poisoned?
Well,
12.5 years.
12.5 years.
12.5 years. Oh,
Half-life.
That's its half-life.
That's its half-life.
Okay.
12.5 years. Oh. Okay,
that's actually pretty good for radiation. I mean, if we're talking...
Yeah. So in other words, Daniel, what's the quote from Chernobyl?
Not great, not terrible.
Not great, not terrible. Yeah, I don't want it in there. Even if it's 12.5 years.
Hey, for radiation, not great, not terrible.
Yeah, not great, not terrible. Again, that's from the Chernobyl series. Check it out, guys. But no, I don't want it in the water. And I don't think anybody in their right mind should have it even humor the idea of dumping it into the Pacific Ocean.
Four words. What could go wrong?
No, really. Yeah, that is true. Hey, let's test our luck. What can go wrong, folks? Put it in the comment section below.
Maybe we will get a form of mutant reptiles that turn into superheroes and then save the world.
You talking about Gamma? I don't think so, no.
Talking about the Ninja Turtles. That's how they became the Ninja Turtles.
No.
You don't think that's possible? All right.
I don't think so. So yeah.
Less people eat shark fin soup for a while.
Okay.
But I'm noticing
furries, except
everyone's talking about how fish with flashlights, glowing in the dark fish. Where's Aquaman when you need him?
I think radiation makes things glow.
Because that's what the TV says.
You can blame The Simpsons for that.
Sure Boris was watching that TV.
Yeah, don't worry, it's all gonna be fine.
Now the depths of the ocean is not so scary anymore.
Well, I had my DNA knocked, and I somehow became translucent, and I glowed, and it was like.
No.
What makes you think that radioactivity doesn't make you glow?
A lot of dead people.
Okay, fair enough.
I think
maybe they died before they got to the glowing phase.
I don't know.
Over a second, it was shining like a light.
Shine bright like a diamond.
I think when we look at this though, it's just the very fact that this idea is being talked about, and even if it's 12.5 years for radioactive material. It shouldn't go in there at all.
It also sounds so flippant. When we're at the brink of disaster.
Yeah.
Environmentally. And then
millions
this
of
article
species
comes out. It's like, we're going to dump a bunch of shit in the Pacific Ocean. That's crazy.
And then not to mention, millions of species are already going extinct across the planet. Now you're talking about dumping in a very hazardous material into the ocean. For 12.5 years, it will linger there.